right. Be seated. Your next question.
Mr. Depp, contrary to what maybe the jury's heard earlier in this trial, you became aware many times over the course of your life about your sister Christy's concerns about your drug consumption, correct?
Over many times in my life?
Yes.
I think you'd have to ask her that. I'm not aware that she was concerned for the period of my life.
Well, in fact, your sister's had a number of worries about your drug consumption over many, many years since your youth that you've become aware of, correct?
In my youth...
Since your youth, sorry. Since your youth.
Since my youth, my sister has not been necessarily privy to every single, let's say, move that I've made, whether it be where you'd like me to go with the drug dependency or whatever. She has been a concerned sister in every way, that even having to do with relationships that I was in that she was quite worried about.
Right, right. And I wasn't asking about relationships. What I was asking is,
I was just...
let's do it this way, given your testimony. Let's turn to day 2 of the UK trial, the transcript that's in front of you, please.
Day 2. So where would you like me to?
Page 279. It's on page 28 of the document, please. It's upper right.
Thank you. Page 279, that was.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And on line 11, are you there? Do you have the document up?
Online?
No, I'm sorry. Is it in your hand? Okay, great.
Yes.
On page, line 11 of page 279, you were asked a question. Question, did your sister express anxiety to you about your drug intake at around this time? Your answer, my sister Christy has over many, many years, since my youth, had a number of worries about my consumption growing up. Yes, she talked to me many times over the course of my life, and yes, with Miss Heard, we did speak about it. I think she and Miss Heard's ability to speak to one another stopped not long after this. Did I read that right?
You did, sir.
When you first started seeing Amber, you had you filmed the Rum Diary, but then you went a couple years without being involved, and then you saw each other on the press tour for the movie, right?
That's correct.
And when you first started seeing her after that couple-year period of not seeing her, you had just been checked out of a New York hospital where you had been for a couple days to fight alcohol use, correct?
Yes.
And you were drinking, you were abusing alcohol toward the end of your relationship with your prior partner, Vanessa Paradis, correct?
I was drinking.
You were drinking pretty heavily.
Were you there?
It's my question to you, sir.
No, I wasn't drinking that heavily.
Let's turn to the UK
It's
116,
definition,
please.
what you define as heavily, sir.
Let's just look at what you said before. Let's go to page
Certainly.
116 of the UK transcript, please. This would be in day 1.
116. Yes, sir. 116 it was, yes.
Yeah, 116 down onto 117. Okay. On 116, line 18, the question is, I think one of the problems in that relationship was your alcohol and drug addiction, misuse, if you prefer that word. Answer. I would definitely say towards the end of my relationship with Miss Paradis, the mother of my children, it was a very painful time to break up with someone that you have been with for 14 years and that you have 2 children with. So it was a very painful time, and I was more than likely trying to numb myself as much as possible. Question. Am I right in saying that you agree that you were abusing alcohol and drugs, but you have explained why? Answer. I would say that I was abusing alcohol. I do not know that I was abusing drugs, but I was abusing alcohol for sure. Yes. Did I read that right?
You did.
And there was a time in the early stages of your relationship with Amber when you explained to her that you weren't drinking alcohol at that time because you had a problem with your liver, correct?
Yes, there was. Yeah, there was concern over the numbers, as they call it, over my about my liver.
And you shared that with Amber, right?
Yes, I did.
And Amber, early on in your relationship, throughout your relationship, she didn't love the fact that you were drinking and using drugs, correct? You've testified to that many times,
Objection calls for speculation as to what is in Ms. Heard's mind.
I'll sustain us to that form if you want to rephrase.
You understood that Ms. Heard was not happy with you overusing alcohol or overusing drugs, correct?
From the very beginning?
Yeah, she was trying to be supportive of your sobriety, correct?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Let's look at Exhibit 182, please.
Are we in day 2 now? Or is this?
No, sorry. This is an exhibit.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you can set that to the side, sir. Thank you. This is an email from exchange from you, between you and Elton John in 2013, July 2013. Correct?
Correct.
And the second email down is an email that you sent to Elton John at 5:05 in the afternoon on July 13th, 2013. You see that?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, move for the admission of Exhibit 182 and permission to publish.
Assume there's redactions that need to be done. But
Yes, Your Honor, there's some email addresses in here, and I would ask that the portions that are not Mr. Depp's also be redacted as well.
all right.
That's fine.
Okay. So no objection with those redactions. Is that correct? Okay. Let's just get those redactions.
Is it just one page?
All right.
I believe that covers the redactions, Your Honor.
May I just
Sure.
have a moment to read?
Absolutely.
Of course.
No objection with the proper redactions. Thank
All
you.
right, 182 in evidence with redactions.
Thank you, Your Honor. So this is an email that you sent to Elton John, July 13th, 2013. And Michelle, could you scroll down to the third paragraph up from the bottom that starts with the words "on the other side of the coin"? And in that paragraph, you write, "On the other side of the coin, my kids have fallen head over heels in deep love with Amber, my girl. And that pressure off my shoulders is fucking gone. That is, until the French extortionist, parentheses, ex-cunt, attempts to brainwash them against her, which I'm sure is imminent." I read that right, didn't I?
You did read that very well.
And when you referred to the French extortionist and called her an ex-cunt, you were referring to Vanessa Paradis, the mother of your children, correct?
Yes, sir. Things got a little
You can take
tight
that down.
at that point between us, as they would.
Can you pull up Exhibit 214, please? Defendant's Exhibit 214. Mr. Depp, portions of this, we've already seen portions of this exhibit. What I'm going to ask you about are the top three messages. These are messages to and from your daughter, Lily Rose, I believe, on February 4th, 2014, correct?
We object, Your Honor. These are communications. We object to the admission of any communications from his daughter.
What's the legal objection?
A hearsay.
All right.
First of all, I was just asking if that was what it was, but may we approach?
Okay.
Mr. Depp, you understood that the last few years before Amber, that your relationship with your kids was such that there was a perception by them that you weren't around for them, and that all changed when Amber came into your life, correct?
Objection calls for speculation.
Just asking what he's aware of.
I'll allow it.
May I have the question one more time, please?
You're aware that, sure. You're aware that the last few years before you started dating Amber, that there was a perception by your kids that you weren't around, and that all changed when Amber came into your life.
This is not exactly the truth of what you're trying to put forth.
No, I'm just asking if you were aware of my question, that there was a perception that you weren't around for the last couple years before Amber, and that changed when Amber came into your life. That's all I'm asking.
Asked and answered, Your Honor.
There were extenuating
I'm not
circumstances.
sure if he's the answer to it, but for that objection, I'll overrule that objection.
Thank you. You're also aware that there was a perception, you were made aware, that Lily Rose believed that Amber was a good influence on you and changed you for the better, correct?
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
I'm just asking for what his understanding is.
I'll sustain the objection. Let's move on.
Okay. All right.
Very brief
You don't have
period.
to, you don't have to answer that question. I sustain the objection.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. Next question.
You're aware of the lengths that Ms. Heard went to care for you when you were impaired on drugs or alcohol, correct?
You'd have to be specific, more
Okay.
specific, please.
Let's be specific. Sorry. Can you please pull up Exhibit 839? Your Honor, this is a recording. And we plan to play 6 minutes and 55 seconds through 7 minutes and 29 seconds.
Is this a recording we already have in? No, this is
I don't-
a tape recording.
I don't believe so, but I'm not 100% sure if this has been
839.
the defendant's 839.
Is there any objection to that audio recording?
I don't believe, assuming this is an audio recording between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard, then we have no objection.
All
It
right,
is.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And so no objection to it being entered in evidence, correct?
That's
And
correct.
it's full content, but we're just playing a portion of it, is that
That's
correct?
exactly right.
All right,
Yep.
839 in evidence then. Okay, thank you.
And permission to play the clip mentioned to the jury?
Okay, I assume there's no objection since it's in. That's fine, go ahead.
By pounding on the door and waking you up every 15 minutes and then falling asleep next to the door so I could hear you snore in case if you vomited, I could call EMS if you ever stopped snoring.
Because you were
if
afraid I was going to die.
I thought you would choke on your own vomit, which is very likely with you.
Really?
Yes, very
But I'd
likely.
vomit a lot.
Yes.
What?
Yes, you do vomit a lot. In your sleep, even more.
Really?
Oh, it's news to you? Then this is affecting you a lot more than I thought it was.
That'll be used.
Can you please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 1094?
Your Honor, may we approach briefly?
Mr. Depp, do you recognize this picture as being a picture of you?
Yes, Ms. Heard kindly showed it to me the day after she took it, yes.
Okay. This picture, no. I'd move for the admission of Defendant's Exhibit 1094 and ask for permission to publish, Your Honor.
We have no objection, Your Honor.
This is a picture of you on a black leather couch, passed out, correct?
Passed out's an interesting way of putting it. Maybe asleep.
Where is it? What residence?
That's in Boston.
I'm sorry?
That was in Boston when I was doing Black Mass.
In Boston. And that's ice cream on your lap, correct?
It is indeed. Ms. Heard asked me to hold the ice cream as she noticed that I was on the nod. That means falling asleep from the 17-hour day that I'd worked and also the opiates that I'd ingested. And if you'll notice, my right hand is in my pocket. So I wasn't participating in the festival of ice cream.
Okay.
I was holding her ice cream, and because she knew what was going to happen, that I would fall asleep and it would drop. And that was a wonderful picture to take for her.
Sure.
I don't know why she took it, but
Well, so it's Ms. Heard's fault that that picture was taken. Is that what you're saying?
she snapped it.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about this because you say you were in Boston. This is when you were filming Black Mass,
Yes, sir.
and you testify that that was kind of the last film that you did when you were taking opiates, right?
Yes, it was right before the the trip to the island.
And you testified yesterday that opiates, you don't take opiates to get high, right? You've testified to that on a couple different occasions, correct?
You certainly can take opiates to get high. If I doubled the dose, then I would most assuredly be ready for sleep.
Right.
That's not a blackout. That's
Sure. So if you double the dose, you'd be ready for sleep, but it wouldn't get you high in the way that other drugs would, correct?
well, the high is it's a extreme downer. That's its job.
Right, and for that reason, I believe you testified yesterday or 2 days ago. It's not like you take those pills to get high. You remember giving that testimony, correct?
I said that it's not like I took the pills to get high. I took the pills to be normal, to stay normal, so that I
let's
wouldn't
pull up
get sick.
866, please.
What number did you say? I'm sorry.
Defendant's Exhibit 866.
But I also believe that I said that I asked Nurse, or I told Nurse Debbie that I had told her that I needed more than I actually took because I always wanted to have 1 or 2 in my pocket just in case the kick started.
If you could take a look at the text at the top of that page.
Yes, sir.
It's a text exchange between you and Erin Borum. Erin Borum, you testified as one of Dr. Kipper's nurses, right?
Yes, sir.
And this is a text exchange that you had with her in August and September 2016, correct?
Sorry, I'm looking for the. Oh, yes, yes. Which one are we looking at here?
The top 3. And in the first, she tells you that she's watching Black Mass for the third time, right?
Yes, so August 30th, yes.
Yep. And, Your Honor, I'd move for, I'd like to admit this exhibit 866 and permission to publish, please. And particularly, I'm talking about the top 3 texts.
The top. So redacting the other text, just the top 3 texts and the identifying
Yes, Your
information.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we have no objection, but we would ask that the 4th text message be included as well as
So the top
context.
4 text
Sure.
messages.
And obviously the phone number is redacted as well.
Of course.
Let's get that up and see what that looks like. That's
No
fine?
objection. Yeah.
Okay, 866 in evidence with redactions.
Thank you, Your Honor. Michelle, could you blow up that third text? It starts with "you are the sweetest," please. And in this text to Ms. Borum, after she's telling you that she's watching Black Mass for the 3rd time in a row, you write, "I was high as a motherfucker when I made that film. Ha, ha, ha." You see that? Did I read that right?
Yes, you did read that right.
Now, you can take that down. You've trashed hotel rooms before simply because you've had a bad couple days and an unpleasant time, correct?
I have assaulted a couch or 2.